Hey everyone, I'm back reviewing Justice League. I just actually finished recording the video, but it didn't save, so I'm re-recording my whole video. I rated this movie 6 out of 10 based off of the fact that at least they tried to do something in this movie. Like, they tried to accomplish kind of like what the MCU tried to do. They didn't do it in, nearly enough time, or they didn't allow it for kind of everything to come together. That it felt rushed, but I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be, from just based off of other things I've heard about this movie, and everything happening with Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon coming on to finish the film. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. A lot of people gave it hate because it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. And I know the whole Superman mustache CGI right here, it was very distracting, especially because that's the first thing you get when you watch this movie is someone's handheld home video of Superman, and he's talking, and it's just you just CGI hits you in the face. I thought this movie was decent for what it was. Did I think it was rushed? Like I said, yes. I felt like the beginning of the movie, it was okay. Like the intros for each character, the intro with Wonder Woman stopping the bomb blowing up. You have Batman going to find Aquaman and try and get him onto his side and fight with him. They're trying to get in contact with the Flash, or Batman is actually in his like house or where he lives when he comes home, and he does recruit him. Wonder Woman is there, I think, when they get back, or at some point. Wonder Woman is just there, like she knows, and Bruce is like trying to get in contact with her. And then Cyborg shows up. He's the one who shows up. He shows up to the Batcave, I think. Like they're walking on around a lake where the Batcave is at, and Cyborg's there, and then he ends up meeting Wonder Woman. If I were to compare this movie's, well, I feel like up to this point in the DC universe is like films from Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, Wonder Woman, Justice League. I would say, like, if I'm comparing that to something, and I don't want to compare that to the MCU, like their setup, but their lack of vision, and there's no real structure in these, well, four films. It's just kind of, let's just run with it and see what happens. So that's why I'm comparing it to like the Star Wars sequel trilogy. It's because those films didn't really have any notable structure. It was like JJ started with 7, Ryan did his thing in 8, JJ did his thing to try and course correct. This isn't about Star Wars though, this is about Justice League. But what I'm just trying to make is the point is that there's no structure to me, there's no structure to these films the way, I guess, in comparison to the MCU kind of planned it out. Whereas Justice League, like the DC just wanted Avengers. Like they just wanted their thing, and they're like, okay, let's not plan it. Let's just put out these 4 movies, see what happens. And because of this lack of structure and kind of planning, there's no real payoff like in the Avengers. You watch Iron Man 1 and 2, Thor, Captain America, and then you're hit with the Avengers, and boom, like you have like instant gratification. It's so like wonderful to watch those moments. That rotating scene going through the Avengers. Like we don't have anything like that in this movie, and there's no big payoff because everything feels kind of forced in this movie. There's the scene towards the end of the film when they're all kind of walking in line together off their transport, and it's just like me watching this for the first time today. It's just it felt like, okay, that feels forced. They wanted their badass moment of their main heroes walking down, like trying to look cool, and I feel like it just didn't work. It was too not that that scene was rushed, but everything was rushed. Everybody kind of meets the span of like less than a week. It's not even like maybe 3 days. Like they're all teamed up buddy buddy. There's no like their heads butt at one point. It's like Wonder Woman and Batman, their kind of ideals of should they revive Superman or not is they clash, but it's just like there's no build up to that. Where anywhere in these movies have they ever had like kind of something like to disagree on like that? And so like the build up isn't there for them to kind of be like, yeah, we get to see the Justice League compared to like, oh shit, the Avengers is like the best movie ever. And there's just not that in this movie at all for me. So it was either last week, I think it was the past week. There was all this news dropping about the Snyder cut of the Justice League, and that got me really interested in wanting to watch this. And that's why I watched it, was because I mean the Snyder cut won't come out for another year or so, I think, at least until 2021. But it's something that I feel like I want to have something to reference from. I want to watch the Snyder cut when it comes out, and then have my own judgment on it. I know there's some people I've heard that they've never seen Justice League and they're gonna wait just to watch the Snyder cut. I know that there's gonna be like 70% of what's in the Snyder cut is already in this current rendition of Justice League, but I'm really excited to see what he does with that 30% and how much it changes the film. But I'm really excited to see the Snyder cut whenever it comes out. I'll probably definitely watch it. A couple of my favorite things in this movie was Aquaman. It was my favorite thing, I think, in this movie. It got me really excited, watching him in this movie, to watch Aquaman, because that's another movie I haven't seen until today. And that review will be up right after this one. And Flash was really good in this, or comedically, he was really like entertaining. It was something that lifted up the movie when I felt that it was not bland, but it just needed something, and he was good comic relief. There was a couple of things though I didn't like in this movie. Not necessarily those things that I didn't like in this movie, because I don't like them necessarily in other movies. But there was a couple of moments I felt like they were MCU-ish, and I think that comes from Joss Whedon. I think that might have been part of the reshoots. Those things were put into it. They're more lighthearted moments, but it's also things that I've noticed in like the MCU films. They put in little, I don't want to call them gags, but it's just like these little moments that you can catch, and it's like that's a very Disney thing to do, because I remember watching, maybe it was the Avengers was the first Disney Marvel Studios film, but I don't, Iron Man 1 and 2 I don't believe had like those little gags, and it's just like little things. And I remember the first time I really noticed it was in Thor: The Dark World. Way off topic, but it's just those little things that I feel like were put into the movie because of Joss Whedon, and that's something that I felt like kind of took away from it. You have the funny moments with Flash, and then it kind of brings it back down with him tripping. I feel like that's something we saw in Iron Man 3 when the Mark 42 is coming down and hits its foot and falls into pieces. I feel like that's like a little gag that's not really funny, but it'll make little kids laugh. I mean, there's that. So on my next review, I'll be reviewing Aquaman. Other than The Flash, I really loved Aquaman in this movie. I don't know why, but Jason Momoa just really appealed to me. I went ahead and watched Aquaman right after this one, and I'll have that review up after this. Thank you guys for watching. I think I already have the ending for this recorded, because this is like the third part of this actual thing I'm recording, and it's been happening to me a lot lately. I don't know why. Maybe I should get a real camera or use my existing camera. That I don't know if it works. We'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Peace.